Connected. Channel switched.
Alright, we are live with Battle Arena. If you'd like to
User joined your channel.
join us, please, if you're silver 5 and below and you're getting the Twitter notification from stream watching, please join.
Yeah, it's fun.
Usually I can spam the T-Force chat, but it's really dead today.
Yeah.
Nobody's up. Alright, Keystone, that's such a good name. Prodic. I'm just gonna start inviting people. Hi, Marvallin. What are you up to? Do you want to play in Bronze Bootcamp? Morning, Ash Hall. Sizzlord and the Foof. Let's see if Sizzlord wants to play. Unfortunately, I'm silver 3. Oh, that's okay. We have Battle Arena on Thursdays at 7 p.m. If you want to join that. Same concept as Bronze Bootcamp, but the games are slightly higher level. It's not as safe a place, Kappa. No, a college student. We have Battle Arena on Thursdays at 7 p.m., which is Gold 1 and below. But Sunstone Bros, if Battle Arena and Bronze Bootcamp continue to get more popular, and the sign-up sheet actually begins to fill, we would like to do a more compartmentalized style with like bronze, silver, gold, plat. But unfortunately, as you're saying now, the participation is iffy on some days. So if you want a silver style matchup, let your bronze friends know about this. Show up to Battle Arena on Thursdays, and I mean, we would do a silver style matchup. The participation just has to warrant that. So if the participation's better in Battle Arena and Bronze Bootcamp, and we have too many people, that's something we will look to do. Is there any website? I actually don't know what it is. It's the same thing as Bronze Bootcamp. 7 p.m. Do you just take a deep breath of water?
No, I just posted. I think he posted the rosters.
Oh yeah, I helped him with them.
Oh man,
I didn't touch your team. Oh, Nate, I did touch your team a little. Wait, no, not your team. Another team.
Oh.
Sounds good. A college student. We'll see you there. No, 7 p.m. Thursdays.
All right, let's see here.
Microphone muted.
Cool. All right. I like it.
Yeah, I think your team is.
Microphone activated.
I think your team is pretty competitive. A college student. You go to the TeamSpeak. It's here. Connections. Connect. Oh. I have the server address. You can connect with that or the actual. But this is the server address.
Disconnected.
Whoa.
Channel switched.
Take a silver 5. Yes, we do take silver 5s. Cheese death.
Yep.
no problem, college student. And if you want to play games later today, there are generally people playing in there. Alright, we need 2 more for Bronze Bootcamp.
Nice.
Anybody interested in playing? Kappa. I do. Oh, Dallum. Alright, we need 1 more. One more spot and we'll get games started. I'm sorry for the delay. I think it is a nice day out, so people are probably enjoying themselves. I can hear the birds. Anyone of my friends with this? It's clearly all your fault and we blame you for the delay. I'm sorry, I take full responsibility, my villain. Do. May villain. Alright, May villain. I put on music, but I don't want the YouTube to get muted. So I'm sorry, everybody. It's pretty dry. There we go.
Got it?
Got it.
Nice.
Obi. Alright, this is Bronze Bootcamp, hosted by the Trinity Force Network. 1 second. It's every Saturday at noon Eastern Time. It's for bronze players to improve in a safe place where they can play other bronze players. It's up to Silver 5. We also have Battle Arena on Thursdays, which is the same concept, but for Bronze 5 to Gold 1, so it's more of a broad range. If you want more information on that, or just things in general, you can check out the website at trinityforcenetwork.com. There's not a lot of specifics on it, but you can hit the Battle Arena tab, and this is pretty much all you need to know. And here's a link to the sign-up sheet, and the replays are on YouTube, so it got all your hyperlinks. trinityforcenetwork.com. Also check out the other shows, 4 Wards, Alice Little Podcast, LCS Rundown, T-Force Proper. All the information regarding those things is on that link as well, so it's like your one-stop shop for information. I did see a lot of those questions in chat, like the TeamSpeak address is in Reddit, Battle Arena information's on the website. It's all laid out for you. And this is the in-game chat room you can join to get in on these games, or just general in-house game and normals and discussion. It's a pretty active place. But in-game chat room T-Force. And just go to chat rooms, hit the little folder, hit T-Force, and you go to the box and auto join on startup. And you're set. You never have to do anything again. Alright, so pretty general picks and bans. I try not to critique picks and bans too much. I don't think they have a lot of relevance in the game.
I do like the Rise ban though.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna go for like something that's quote unquote perma-banned, it's better to wait until third pick, because you might get to like they might ban it for you, but pretty, I don't know, it's pretty standard. Rek'Sai, Ziggs, Thresh, I mean pretty normal picks. Graves, Victor.
Fiora would be the first. Not necessarily popular pick here.
Yeah, Ziggs and Thresh and Graves and Victor and Rek'Sai are all very standard and kind of work in like most comps. Fiora's a little different though, especially first picking it. But we'll see.
Might see a Malphite pick out from the other team.
I believe that mastery is very important, so I mean if you're
good
at Fiora, you're good at Fiora.
I guess it'll be top lane Rek'Sai then.
He played this Battle Arena or two ago. I think Fiora's pretty favored in that matchup. I don't see Rek'Sai doing well against Parry, but we'll see. Looks like Frown's looking at Bard. They have a lot of like large circular crowd control with Victor and Mumu and Bard. Could be really interesting. Could not be.
Bard can set up the Amumu and Victor ult, or it could ruin the Amumu and Victor ult.
Yeah, and Victor's W. Whoa. Ajax.
And that is the Bard locked in. Alright. Overall, I kind of do like Blue Team. Overall, like their team kind of has a little bit of everything.
Oh god, Victor. I mean, Rengar. Yeah, do you have a dog named Jax? It's Ajax. Close. You should change it. No, I like Ajax quite a bit. He's a pretty famous Greek hero, per se. Yeah, Ajax is a legit name. Alright, so teams are pretty normal. Purple team has... They're a riskier team with Lee Sin, but I don't know. I think I was talking about lane matchups because I don't think there's a lot to take from picks and bans. Like straight up from the Iliad. Exactly. Somebody here reads literature. Your dog does tons of damage. Alright, so top lane. I think Rek'Sai struggles against Fiora. Fiora's parry should do well in the matchup. I think it's a pretty gank dependent lane though. I think if Rek'Sai got a kill or two and got item advantage, Rek'Sai could win. Yeah, Ajax the Lesser and Ajax the Greater. May villain. I've read the Iliad. Grace has Ignite, which is a little weird. I hope he changes it. Yeah, he has heal. So bot lane, Grace Bard against Lucian Thresh. Lucian Thresh is just a lot stronger. Thresh can kind of dominate Bard in lane. And Lucian doesn't get bullied by Graves like a lot of people. I also think it's kind of a gank dependent lane. I think that Lee Sin Thresh is just like there's so much ganking power if Lee Sin ever comes spot through Lantern or all the CC that Thresh offers.
Yeah.
And
I
Bard
was gonna
is
say-
easy to kill.
Purple team definitely has a higher mobility, I feel like, than blue team. And with I don't know, Bard can help his team with mobility a bit, but individually, purple team can kind of move around fast and pick some plays at a bit quicker rate.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably be a little bit more roam centered, but that's just my thought.
Yeah, it really comes down to how much priority they have. It's hard to run with that priority, and they have out of lanes I don't think will win. Victor, we'll talk about Victor. I think Victor does well against Ziggs. I think that's kind of farm lane, but Victor can really bully if he hits some good lasers. So.
Yeah, he can keep up with the wave clear of Ziggs too.
I think like as far as win conditions go, Lee Sin and Amumu is a pretty one-sided matchup, and he has lanes that can snowball. So I'd like to see him just gank as well as he can and snowball those lanes. Maybe top early and then transition into kind of dragon-centric ganking around 6. Usually what I look to do in Lee Sin. And a lot of junglers. If you have 6 on Lee Sin, you can usually guarantee dragon with a good gank. And Thresh Bard's just free if Thresh Flash plays. But blue team Rek'Sai really needs to think about his win condition in lane, and 1v1ing Fiora isn't a good one. So maybe farm, build correctly, and get some good TPs and help his bot lane out. He has tunnel and TP, so he's a lot of map movement. Let's see. They can really play around Victor mid game. He's quite a bit stronger than Ziggs, and Amumu is pretty strong mid game too. So I would honestly say blue team just kind of needs to farm and make it to mid game. Graves, Rek'Sai, Victor, and Amumu are all like mid game champions. So
It'll be interesting to see if Ziggs can cash in on his dominant lanes by using his ult.
Mm-hmm. And the way blue team would want to look to do this too is a lot of like lane control and freezing near your tower when you can, instead of letting them push in the tower and kind of abuse you. Just really, if people freeze near your tower, it really shuts Lee Sin down. It makes it hard to play Lee.
Oh yeah.
So just being cognizant to the fact that you have an Amumu and they have Lee Sin. I see a lot of people play into one-side jungle matchups and then they get ganked twice and they start crying like, "Oh, where's my jungle? I didn't get any ganks," or blah blah blah. It's like, you hit a Amumu, dog. Like, if Amumu could gank really well early, he'd be like 90% win rate. His ganks are actually decent early, but
yeah, they're all right. I was gonna say also another benefit of freezing near your tower allows you to respond probably more quickly to Lee Sin invading your jungle.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, good loading screen. Nice computers, guys. Is appreciated. Let's hope your internet's just as good, Kappa.
Better computers than me.
So loading in. The two things we usually look for before minute 30, and these are two things you can work at any elo if you're not doing them, is we look for people skilling before they need to. If somebody invades and you take a damage skill instead of an escape, like 1 out of 100 games it will matter. So you might as well do it. 1 out of 100 doesn't seem like a lot, but if you go 49 and 51 in ranked instead of 50 and 50, that's 2 games you have to make up as opposed to 0. Which is actually quite a bit of work if you think about it.
Yeah.
2 net wins. Victor is a pretty standard page. Most mid laners will hit 39 or 40 depending if they have scaling blues or not. He is 43, which means he probably has a couple of AP blues. He also doesn't have any armor or magic resist. And that means he probably has scaling yellows and some sort of either scaling CDR. I know he probably has 3 AP, but stuff like that.
Let me check.
But that's one thing, when you get into lane, you can click on your lane opponent and you can just, by looking at base stats, you can get a pretty good idea of what runes they're running and what their intentions are.
Yeah.
And Frown went for coin. Generally in Bard you want to go for Spelthies. He already has issues with not dealing damage early. Like, if you use Spelthies, you can kind of trade and heal, and it won't be that bad. If you have coin, you just get dumpstered.
Yeah, I see both supports when coin. It's I don't know.
Yeah, that's just the same thing. You want Locket. In solo key is different than competitive play. In solo key, winning lane is really, really important because not only do items snowball, mentality does too, and your team's probably gonna be less toxic if you win lane. So, winning lane is important. Win lane, win game. The buff to coin. It was really good, but it didn't fix the problems with coin. And that bot lane's really 2v2 trade centric, and that's one of the reasons why people run attack speed Quints now as opposed to AD, because attack speed is so good in 2v2 trades. And without any stats to trade with, Quang is kind of useless.
Lee Sin is already moving in with the early invade.
Sin.
And it looks like he might be able to get a kill here. His Q should be up again in a couple seconds, but it might be too risky.
Alright, so as Lee Sin, you need to wait until that buff is like lower. You walk into this bush, and Amumu didn't react. You could have either waited till the buff got lower or waited till Amumu is lower.
Yeah, because Amumu has both of you don't have smites, so you don't have to worry about Amumu just smiting that and walking away healthy.
And as Amumu, you really need to drag the buff into the bush so that doesn't happen. Or you need to be using your first totem so that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
especially
can
against
invade you a blue too, but pretty important. Also, when you're doing red, you want to dragon. You just want to dragon the bush.
He's a little low to be starting this blue buff.
You might be able to do it. When you're doing blue, you have two options. You can drag into the bush, or you can click right here on the wall. The wall is nice because it makes it hard for them to hit you, and it lets you flash out like this, which is really hard for them to kill you because you can just walk to your tower. Is one of the things I'll cover when my Fiddlesticks guide comes out.
Next year at this rate.
Yeah, it was actually planned to come out this weekend. I have everything done, but my CS guide will actually be coming out this afternoon instead.
Cool.
I have most of it finished. I would say a couple of hours after BBC it'll be out. And if any of you guys want to practice general laning, whoa.
Whoa, very aggressive there.
Well, I hit the double.
I don't know why Thresh just didn't throw a hook at the portal entrance. I saw him coming through. But yeah.
This is interesting. Not a great trade.
The heal, yeah.
Yeah.
They could have done without the heal there. Interesting. Lee Sin looks like he might be able to get a good gank off here.
Oh.
Moo moo. Alright.
That was well played by Victor. He respected that Ziggs didn't have mana to actually kill him. It's a good ward. On Lee Sin, when you run into this position where a lot of your ganks aren't working and you're starting to fall behind and farm, generally you just want to rush 6. It seems kind of counterintuitive because Lee Sin's more early game. You're still pretty good compared to Mumu if you can hit 6 before him and get first dragon and snowball. And, you just farm hard. I mean, I guess he has his second red, so he might be able to do something top. But falling behind on Lee Sin's pretty rough. And I see a lot of Lee Sins do that. Not good. And he'd want to upgrade his smite here too. Hunter's Machete Longsword's not doing a lot for him.
Rek'Sai is just bullying top lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, N8 sustain. He's got a 8 CS lead right now.
Yeah, last thing is pretty even across both teams, but Ziggs is up and Graves and Rek'Sai are up a little bit, so We'll see. Ziggs is actually doing pretty well. Missed a
Guy's
couple.
gonna get a kill here. Yep.
Whoa. What
Did
happened?
Lee Sin have trinket? Oh no, he had a sweeping lens. Ouch.
So, Lee Sin, you really want to buy your jungle item here. You were low because you didn't have your smite upgrade and potions. The longsword didn't do a lot for you there. Can you go Balmy Cinder before you finish Machete or no? I think you can go Balmy Cinder and Smite upgrade before you finish Boots if you want to farm really hard. The change to Balmy Cinder made it like worse at everything besides hard farming. So sometimes like when you rush Balmy Cinder, it should only be for hard farming. But generally you want to upgrade your Smite. So like Machete into Balmies, and then maybe you put off your Boots, but upgrading Smite's really, really important.
So, like we were saying earlier, blue team might want to like kind of keep the wave near their tower here. As it looks like Bard is in a little bit of trouble.
Wow. Alright.
Oh, gonna get out of there.
So is Lee Sin. If he had had Chilling Smite, that would have been really easy. He could have used Chilling Smite into EQ or QE. But the Longsword Ruby Crystal aren't doing a lot for him here. And the biggest issue is he's level 4 at 8 minutes. So
And Amumu here is getting close to level 6 already. He's almost there. This camp might do it. Yeah, there he is.
And the Whis, the Weibo, in chat. Yeah, it's usually like Smitem, Bombies. The Smitem is really, it just does a lot, especially if you go Trailblazer. But chilling is pretty important for ganking.
Next time, Amumu, when you're doing that gank path, wait in the tri-bush until the minions pass and get up to the middle of the lane so that you have a clear path for your Q to reach Fiora when she tries to retreat. But otherwise, nice attempt. Looks like Lee Sin's finally gonna get a kill here. Maybe not. Oh! Wow.
Alright, so this Lee Sin, I actually want to check one thing. Alright, so Lee Sin, if you pop your second health pot, you may have lived there. It's pretty close. Yeah, I got Poacher's Tank Shaco. I saw somebody build up Poachers the other day, and I had no idea what was going on. I was like, what is this white Smitem? So Lee Sin went Sightstone, Longsword. So he doesn't have a Smitem to clear. He doesn't have Boots to gank, and he doesn't have level 6 to gank. He's really put a lot of his eggs into the ganking basket, but kind of wandered around without a Smite upgrade.
Yeah, you can see Mumu has a 11 CS lead on him in the jungle, and there.
And the ganks mid and bot probably could have gone a lot better if he had Chilling Smite. Like, they were pretty close ganks.
Yeah.
Chilling Smite's important on Lee too, and one of the reasons you don't see a lot of Trailblazer on Lee, even though Trailblazer's so good at rushing 6, and rushing 6 is good on Lee after first red, is the way Lee Sin works and how his auto attacks work with energy, you want to get a lot of auto attacks in, and it's a lot easier to get auto attacks in when they have Chilling Smite on top of them. And it lets you effectively like combo over and over again without getting energy starved. So as Lee Sin, I like that he's giving up blue, and I like giving up blue most of the time. The issue I have with this is he's not level 6 at 10 minutes. Or he just hit it. Sometimes when you're falling really behind on EXP as a jungler, you just need to like take a buff. So as a Mumu, the issue here is
wow.
he was on top of Lee, and he could do what he needed to do, and he wasted Q. A lot of times on Amumu, when you can kill somebody and you're already in ult range, auto range, and or E range, you hold Q for flash.
Alright, so that was a nice play by Lucian there.
Right,
Graves might
yeah.
want to be a little bit more mindful of the mini-map
Mhm.
next time, but other than that, it was a pretty quick death.
So as Bard there, you'd want to walk up, maybe ward to see what's happening, although you have pretty good ward with the scuttle, and just give Amumu caretakers. You didn't use your heal, and Amumu could, I think he may have gotten out with the heal.
Yeah.
It seemed really weird to walk in and use your damage spells instead of Caretaker Shrine and give him the health and the move speed. Alright, so in chat, Andrew, lol, is it worth to use Flash to gank or should I save it to escapes? Unless you're getting invaded, Flash to gank is good. I would say don't waste it though. Think about whether they have Flash and whether the gank is free if you Flash or not. So like as Lee said, if you know Victor doesn't have Flash for whatever reason, know that if you Flash ultimate, Victor will probably die. If Victor does have Flash and he flashes your ult, it's a little different though, so those are just the things you want to think about.
Looks like Victor's reaching that mid-game power spike against Ziggs. The only problem is that he doesn't have blue buff.
Sometimes if you can burst fast enough though, it doesn't matter if they have Flash. Sometimes as Fiddlesticks, I flash ult, even when I know they have Flash, because I trust my mid laner to kill them in fear. And I know that I can silence out of fear, but silence does pretty well against Flash. So Rek'Sai's doing pretty well top. Fiora, the things she wants to look to do here is really, she's using teleports to lane, so she doesn't have a lot of roam advantage.
And she's using, that's twice now, she's used her ult on a pretty full health Rek'Sai. Yeah, it's not gonna, I don't think that's even gonna push him out of lane if you do that.
This is a lane, I hate to say it, but it's difficult to come back in. So we're going to talk about what caused this to happen and what isn't, like, I don't know. So Fiora has one of the highest base attacks in the game, and she's really good at dueling early levels with parry.
Extended trades with her, I feel like, are pretty good too. But
so she really should have looked to push her advantage early, as Rek'Sai top doesn't have the craziest like levels 1 through 5. I know some Sejuani players will flash when they Q ult so the animations are quicker. Is that optimal, or should he not do that? It comes down to, there are two situations. One, if they don't have flash, you don't really need to do that, because they can't flash and it doesn't matter, or escape, so it doesn't matter if the animations are quicker. Two, if they do have flash, which as a jungler you need to be timing flashes. I'm just going to throw that in as a caveat. If they do have flash, you need to think about if you have the burst to kill them. Because the animations are quicker, but they may have quick animations and flash it too, or they may be able to flash afterwards, and you might just waste flash for a cool combo.
That's twice now Lee Sin has kicked an opponent to safety. I don't know if he's overestimating his damage or just going through like a routine combo. But yeah, something to watch is when you kick in, if you can get behind the said person and kick them back to your teammate.
So first kick when you have warriors is about 300 damage. You can usually hover, given the armor pen from warrior, and like most people's armor growth stat, kind of between 6 and 11. What I look for is about 200. Between 200 and like 225 is iffy.
He might be able to kill Graves here if he... Oh, nice flash. Wow.
200 health is good. Oh, you can do it at least then.
Great flash there by Graves to touch the sonic wave there by Lee Sin.
Ouch. So some of that just comes down to learning to play against Bard and clicking portals, and that will just improve with playing more games against Bard. I struggled with that for a while.
Yeah.
So this Fiora, don't be afraid to take golems, don't be afraid to take wraiths, and don't be afraid to farm out mid lane if Ziggs isn't there. You're struggling, but Fiora still scales. So sometimes when you're struggling top, or even bot lane, you need to know when to take golems. It's good. One of the biggest issues with Amumu, and Amumu is really good mid, and we talked about Lee Sin winning the game for the first 10 or 15 minutes. Amumu still struggles mid game between ults. Ooh, Fiora, don't use TP here. Ziggs is already there to farm.
Oh.
So when you're losing, don't TP to lane unless you absolutely have to. One of your ways to come back is TPing bot or a dragon, and you can't do that now.
I would have liked to see more focus top from the jungler.
I would have liked to
red
see
team.
more from both.
Yeah, because that lane can really snowball either way. I feel like not like a heavy farm lane, but Rek'Sai has slowly gained the upper hand, and whoa.
So the point I was trying to make with the Mumu earlier is a little slower than I wanted to, but it's not just a Mumu. Ult-centric mages. Whoa, we can hit your Q.
That was a little bit of an early flash by Fiora. Like she's really afraid to do an extended trade with Rek'Sai. Like she's been afraid of that this whole entire game, and like you said, early game she needs to be doing that to keep her passive up. I feel like. But
remember to proc Tiamat early in a trade. Tiamat, the cooldown on it isn't that long. It's 10 seconds, and Fiora does well in extended trades.
Yeah, there she is. I don't think she realizes how much damage she's capable of, or how much healing her passive does if she keeps fighting Rek'Sai. But yeah. I think it's just a comfort level with. It might just take a lot more games with the champion to get a feel for how much damage you can output, and maybe it's also being unfamiliar of playing against the Rek'Sai top lane.
A lot of it comes down to farm as well. A lot of these trades would be much better if she had Hydra and a longsword, so like 20 or 30 CS ahead of where she is now. But she doesn't, so it's difficult. Last thing is very, very important. It doesn't matter how much you know about the game if they have item advantage. You're really putting yourself in a difficult position.
Yeah.
Good cut from Ziggs. This is one of those things I see a lot.
He didn't even hit him once under tower there.
In Bronze Bootcamp, is when you're struggling to hit CS mid, you end up with this weird item build, Chalice, Codex, Sorks.
Yeah.
That tells me if you had hit 5 more CS, you would have Athenes. So, last hitting is very, very, very important. Especially in Bronze. That's one of the easiest ways to just like subjugate the skill cap between Bronze and like Silver or Bronze and Gold is get really good at last hitting. Look at Whale.
Good to take a quick look at Team Vision here.
Yeah, Blue Team's done a pretty good job relative with wards this game.
Yeah, Red Team has a lot of defensive wards in their jungle, at least bot side.
The both team has pretty defensive wards. The Blue Team is not as bad because they just scale. If you scale, it's okay to be a little more defensive, but
Blue Team can probably just take this dragon here. If Fiora had teleport right now, she'd be able to make a play here, but she's taking tower. It's good. Recognizing she can do that. She might want to push even harder here. Do you think Blue Team should start pushing their... They have a slight lead here. They should be trying to take the outer bottom tower here as a team, or...
Yeah, this is free. They need to be going for
Graves
it.
is going to get it anyway.
As long as they have a Mumu up, both teams need to play around a Mumu.
Yeah.
And Blue Team, if you have a Mumu up, you should be looking for fights. Red Team, if a Mumu ult isn't up, you want to be looking for fights. A Mumu's biggest weakness is not having ultimate up.
Yeah.
Just making sure people are maxing correct skills. Yeah, it's pretty good for the most part. Alright, so Fiora, you got Fuhrer and Mobies. So you're losing lane, you're struggling to trade. It's pretty close. You just dropped 950 gold for boots and an upgrade into no combat stats.
Yeah.
I would say general rule of thumb, there are some very weird exceptions, but you don't want to buy boots and mobility unless if you're playing top lane.
It's also kind of late to be buying them. Or did she? How long ago did she buy them?
Recently.
Okay. Yeah, top lane boots and mobility aren't. You're not roaming, really. Teleport is your mobility, really, if you think about it for top lane.
Especially if Fiora's like a bruiser without CC.
Hmm.
Like you're sometimes like I don't know, you could argue it on Maokai even though I don't think it's good because you want to get in range for W. If you're like you shouldn't be the one engaging with ultimate. It's very weird. The buy I would have liked to see is like an extra longsword. Oh, Fiora ult.
And that
And
wave
warding
there.
totem. So you could upgrade your trinket, have a longsword and a pink ward instead of no combat stats.
Is
And I'd give
Thresh?
you AD and wards.
Okay. He was taking out a ward. I thought he was farming wraiths for a second.
Mm.
Here we go. I like this decision by Rek'Sai to apply pressure top lane.
Whoa, Graves. Alright, so on Graves you don't want to use ult to harass. It's okay to lead with ult and front load your damage in team fights, but... Okay, so buying Swifties versus Mobies. I don't think she should have bought either of those boots this game.
Yeah.
They have Amumu and Victor. You're buying Merc Treads this game. Generally, if you play like against Amumu or Fiddlesticks, you're gonna be buying Merc Treads.
Oh, how did Rek'Sai get there already? Dear lord.
Ultimate.
I thought he just used it to get top lane.
Oh, this engage. That's pretty good with... no, actually... I don't like the Bard ult there. He wasted it.
Yeah.
I'm in bronze 2. I see top laners aren't really sure when to TP. They feel safer just going back to lane. I think that goes for all elo. I think TP usage is one of the things that really separates okay top laners from great top laners.
Yeah. It takes a little bit of innate knowledge of your teammates and the enemy team to know, well,
Your mic is
teleport
broken.
right next to and still be there to get them.
Nobody heard
You know?
that. Your mic just like broke. Alright, so if you want to practice TP top lane, or you get used to like looking at it, practice looking at the mini-map between CS, and you can also practice
Using the F keys.
yeah, F1
Maybe.
through 5 target your team, and hit spacebar back to yourself so you don't waste as much time clicking. Kind of a weird mechanic to get used to, but a good one. And that's a transferable mechanic, because that's how you use screen regions in StarCraft and a lot of MOBAs and RTSs.
Oh, red team. You put yourself way out of position there. So they engaged on a tanky Rek'Sai. And they moved away from their tower to engage in that fight.
You don't solo ult a tank. I don't think I need to say much more than that. He has random ones. I mean, Rek'Sai is kind of a monster right now.
Yeah. He won't exactly, 1v1 your entire backline, but he's not the target you want to go in on.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of survivability.
So Victor, I don't like to build a ton. I think it's a little early for death cap and it's not scaling with a lot. Yeah,
Whoa!
I think I just fixed it, Declawed. So I think better options would have been Luden's Echo or Morellonomicon. The CDR and the extra burst helps quite a bit, and your decap isn't scaling with a lot right now. Hourglass is a pretty good buy too if you're against Fiora or some other stuff.
Probably doesn't feel threatened, but yeah. It's useful against Ziggs ult, Fiora ult.
Mm-hmm. So when you're playing against the Ziggs or a Mumu, both supports or a jungler on each team should be digging Locket pretty early here. Ziggs Fiora is like really easy to use Locket on. It's not incredibly difficult. And a Mumu Victor is pretty easy to use Locket against as well.
Red team might be able to make a. Well, they won't be able to get a dragon, but they might be able to make a play here. They have a numbers advantage if they want to go in.
Mm-hmm. See.
Oh, whoa. Mumu's very confident. A little too confident. Yeah, he didn't have Victor there, and red team was basically all of them were there. Gotta be mindful of where your teammates are.
Yeah, I see a lot of people complain about that and their teammates not following up with them. It's important to do a head count, check the mini-map, make sure your teammates are actually there to follow up with you. Oh.
Red team's in a weird spot positionally right now. There's no really real need for them to be in that jungle area, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
If blue team decided to collapse on them there, it might have been bad, but...
And one of the reasons red team was so unsure right there, we'll hit tab and we'll look at red team's vision. They're very unsure about this part of the map, which isn't good. This is pretty poor dragon coverage for dragon being up. And this is all they can see right now. Is they can see Victor and they just saw Rek'Sai, but there's so much MIA. Whereas blue team is pretty good. This is good ward coverage. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 pinks up. Good job, guys.
What time are you at in the game?
It's better now.
Okay.
I fixed it like 45 seconds ago. The chat's just on a delay. Usually you behind me. Funny. So there's a Mumu here. Frozen Heart synergizes really well with the Mumu. It seems kind of weird because you want the multiplicative health from Juggernaut, but being able to spam out Qs in a team fight's pretty make or break.
And it's gonna shut down Fiora and a little bit Lucian, not much, but...
And it's helpful against Lee.
Yep.
Oh, Vom is here. Vom, we had a cheese send. He invaded a Mumu's red buff.
You were talking about red team's vision earlier, and again, they really don't know where blue team is.
Fizzle Sticks, this is game 1. If you'd like to play game 2 or 3, you can join in-game chat room T-Force, and we'll announce when the next game is up. But it'll probably be shortly after this.
I think red team was looking for a fight here. They saw a grave spot, but they were not on the same page. You had Lee Sin taking a ward, Diggs being soloed by Rek'Sai, and Fiora diving in the entire team. Just a little miscommunication there. It helps a lot. They now have a lot better vision in their upper jungle, but like in the minute leading up to that fight, they were dancing around dark shadows. They had no idea where blue team was.
Yeah, red team is really struggling
Nice
with vision. Oh, good Zigzal. That's well played.
Yeah. Do you think it might benefit Lucian to rush a last Whisper here after his Zeal, or should he finish that up into a Shiv or Phantom Dancer?
He should finish the tech speed first.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty old school. I don't think Lucian's that caster heavy.
Yeah.
A good Lucian ult.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so your question in chat, do you think Talisman or Righteous Glory for Thresh? I think he's going to build both. I think my build I would have liked to see out of Thresh here is I would have liked to see a Locket first into probably either Glory or Mikhail's. I don't think his team gains a ton from Talisman, and I think they're really struggling not having an Iron Locket of the Solari against Amumu and Victor. We'll look at the post-game damage for Amumu and Victor, and I bet if we subtract 15% of that, it'll probably... Whoa.
Oh, he's got it, he's got it.
He's got Chilling Smite.
That Chilling Smite helped a lot there.
It'll be quite a bit.
Microphone muted.
I might be able to... Oh boy.
Microphone activated.
Sorry for the loud noise stream. Somebody's flying a plane above my house.
Red team might. I don't know. They were able to get 1 kill under turret earlier. That might just have to be their strategy here, especially with Ziggs and his wave clear.
So Ziggs here, I liked the Wisp when I thought you were building an Echo because you're losing and you guys could use the wave clear, and Echo's a pretty effective item on Ziggs in pretty much every situation.
But now you're seeing
Lichbane
Lich
is not. Yeah. Lichbane on Ziggs is maybe 5th or 6th sometimes, but that's the only time you should build it.
He doesn't have the AP to really utilize its passive either. Just has Athenes for that to scale off of.
A lot of times, if you're in auto attack range on Ziggs too, you're dead. And
Yeah,
people get
if he's
it
in
because
auto
of his
range of
passive.
Victor, he's in trouble. Nice Amumu ult.
Wow, imagine if they had Rocket or Aegis. That was so much magic damage for so long.
Yeah.
And people get it because it synergizes with Ziggs, because you think, oh, Ziggs passive, it synergizes. And it's actually, it doesn't. I mean, it synergizes in the sense it's more bonus auto attack damage, but it's still the same amount of extra auto attack damage as any other champion. It's not a multiplicative scaling. It's like Kog'Maw with the old Blood Razors. Everyone
His
would get
passive would scale more with the Ludens or Rabadons just because of the AP it scales off of.
Exactly. Cog with the old Blood Razors, everybody used to buy it and they'd say, oh, it's so good on Cog. And I knew a couple of Diamond 80 carries in Season 2 and they called it junk. And I asked them to explain it to me. They said, Cog already does 5%, so you're only hitting 95%. And 4% of 95% is less than 4% of 100. So it's actually worse on Kog'Maw than like anybody else. Like barely, but it wasn't an effective item.
Microphone muted.
I think blue team is a little bit struggling here to figure out what to do next. I mean, Dragon here is a pretty obvious goal, and there looks like they're gonna get it. Oh, dang!
Microphone activated.
Oh, I forgot muting mic doesn't save stream from the plane noise.
Fight a kite back.
That is good. And checking dragon buff and knowing how many dragons you can give up is important when you're in a losing situation. So it's 2 dragons to 1. They can afford to give up 1 or 2 more.
For blue team, their next goal as a team, do you think they should try for the inhib turret again? Maybe try to take that last remaining top turret down, or try to zone out Baron? I feel like those are some of their options.
Ward out Baron, go towards top tower. If they don't give it to you, just walk towards Baron. Bait it.
Yeah, they've been able to win basically every fight out in the open. They've just all really run into trouble at that, especially at that middle inhib turret. Even though it is really low and they might be able to brute force it, it really opens up. If they try to brute force it, it leaves open a lane for red team to kind of come in and get a couple kills and get back in the game.
I really like playing zones too. And if you ward out their red jungle, you can play inhibitor siege, you can play top lane siege, or Baron. And just warding out this one zone will give you a lot of choices depending on what they do. So just thinking about like what you can take in what areas of the map.
Nice Bard ult.
Whoa,
oh wow,
Lee Sin.
Lee Sin's really stepping it up here.
That's pretty good. So Mumu, you really need to be watching the minimap and respect the fact that they have Lee Sin, Thresh, and Thresh has like double move speed items. Sometimes I see people who don't want to group with their team because they want to farm or do something else. One of the things you really need to think about when you do that is how much engage they have and how far away from your team you can actually be.
Looks like they're gonna rotate towards this top turret. They're not all on the same page.
Alright, so Fiora, you're building Trinity Force. Your Sheen and Phage could have already bought you a Last Whisper or a tanky item. And Fiora just synergizes really well with armor penetration. Not Trinity Force. You don't get Trinity Force procs during your ultimate, as
Yeah.
far as I know.
Looks like blue team is really stubborn here. They want to brute force this mid inhibitor down. I think they might be able to actually get it this time, especially with Graves coming up.
The cool Lee kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziggs is really struggling not having the wave
Whoa.
clear. And Black Cleaver is very good in Fiora as well. I think Last Whisper may have been more of a budget item, which she needs now, but Trinity's rough. Not only is
It's
it not a
really-
good choice, it's expensive.
It's expensive. Alright. Looks like blue team's got two very important
Mhm.
objects there, and they can probably just go back and force Baron to tell the truth.
So in chat, Fiora could really use some defenses. She's really squishy. She also has to respect the fact that she's a Lucian that's doing average, so he can put out about as much damage as Graves. But Ziggs isn't doing too well, and for her team to win, all the opponents have to die. And Fiora's also like not a very effective tank. So like even when you're doing poorly on Fiora, you usually don't want to build a defensive item unless it's random ones or Guardian Angel, and those are very specific circumstances. Sometimes you need to play to win and not just play to lose, though. Play to not lose.
Yeah. Alright, looks like blue team is heading towards Baron. I would imagine Victor goes back after he grabs this blue buff.
I beat you to it, Vom. Get wrecked. This comes down to poor vision. Like 101.
And Bard's OP autos.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'd like the decision to just go ahead and start the Baron buff when you know you've killed their jungler. Let's see, do they have Vision of Fiora at all? No.
I don't know what she's planning on doing.
Yeah, they did. They had Vision of Fiora. They knew she was down there. Alright, now they can easily push top and maybe have somebody push. They might have Rek'Sai split if they want. That's an option.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, they have their option. I think 1-4, 0, or even 5 mana isn't
yeah,
bad.
you can make it 5-man just because of how strong a Mumu Victor AoE is.
I would like to see Rek'Sai just kind of hover between mid and bot and shoving the waves in with Baron buff and then tunnel top when they need him.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do that. You see somebody floating between two dead inhibitor waves and just making sure they're shoved in. Red team, the play that you need to make here is you need to pick a fight before they kill this third tower. This is
It's
the
not
last
gonna
fight
be a
you'll
fight,
have
yeah.
on a tower, and if they take 3 inhibs, you lose.
It's not going to be a fight in your favor, but
Whoa.
you gotta take it. Yeah.
Block it. Aegis. Please.
Yeah.
But
You look, Victor's low, and the rest of the team is basically half health. But yeah,
yeah, they
They
lost.
had to fight.
But it's good that they tried. Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to give it a shot. There wasn't really a better alternative.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot about min-maxing advantages and min-maxing fights, and sometimes you have to min-max a really poor situation. And usually it won't be good, but if you're good at min-maxing, it'll be good slightly more than it should be.
All right, good game, both teams.
Mm-hmm. Jay Wenny's did pretty good. Whoa. Okay. Game, please. Best Bard in a AMA. Alright, Brown. So we're gonna pull up the match history here. Do you want to start the lobby with invites?
One thing I will say about Europe,
Oh,
actually, one
God.
storyline.
Chico?
What?
I said, do you want to start the lobby while we go over the next one?
Yeah, I can start.
I think if we start doing that, we can get it going a little faster. So anybody in chat, if you're silver 5 or below and you want to hop in the next game, go into in-game chat room T-Force and say something.
We'll find you.
Yep. Worst team. Alright. So the game, pretty general. We saw Rek'Sai kill Lee Sin at 6:20 or 6:30, but we didn't see a lot of jungle activity early. I'll say the same thing I say after most BA games. Draw a tangent line from your first buff to the first lane you want to gank. Think about the camps you need to do before then, and then just gank it. But that lets you be decisive, and it kind of gives you some thought process on where you want to go. But you really want to draw those tangent lines between big buff and ganks, or small buff and ganks. And you don't want it to be, you don't just want to wander around. I got into Silver 5 to play a couple of these this half. Well, that's awesome, Andrew. Lol 230. If you want to hop in BA, we'll make sure to keep helping you. I want to lose 5 points. It's a Merlin 8. You can join Battle Arena as well. Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Same thing as this, but Cold 1 or below. So let's look at statistics. Let's see that Ziggs actually did quite a bit of damage. But Vision wards purchased is a big one. Not buying a ward as a jungler is pretty rough. And not buying a pink ward as a top laner is pretty rough as well. And we see that Fiora only dropped 4 wards all game. This is really concerning to me because she had Warding Totem Trinket, and that counts as a ward, so that means she wasn't using Trinket. Remember at Bear, like the barest of minimums, your Trinket is a free ward, even if you never change it or upgrade. So remember to use it. Solution's not the worst for an AD carry. And Dust did good, 44 wards and 10 ward kills. I like to see double-digit ward kills in a game with high wards. I think that's the metric people should strive for.
Yeah.
And Ziggs got a couple. He didn't get any stealth wards, which is the concerning thing for me. If I see somebody with no stealth wards, and he didn't upgrade Trinket, it means that they were only using Trinket until at least level 9. And then at level 9 they can upgrade, but you really need to be buying ward on first or second recall mid lane. Mumu and Victor, only 1. Blue team did a pretty good job with Vision, generally, and I think we saw that throughout the game. Lucian, Ziggs,
Okay.
so on and so forth. We'll go down 1 or 2 things while each person is, while each person's loading into the next game, because the next lobby will going up soon. Rek'Sai, I think you could have been more decisive with your split push and your positioning on the map. I don't know. I think you played pretty well, and I think we weren't focusing on you a lot. But I don't know. I think for the most part you did good. Do you see anything Rek'Sai didn't do well? I think a couple of times you could have been more. I can see how the warding helped them win. Yeah, no, it definitely does. I think he could have been more decisive with flash knockup a few times. But I had weird trouble with my tunnel that game.
There were a couple times where Lee Sin dove the backline and got a kill on Graves or Victor, I think, near the end of that game. Maybe decide to peel there, but probably not.
I was in a ranked game and I saw a Diana use her E and knock Rek'Sai out of tunnel. Like, he was trying to travel from one tunnel to the next. I was just like, holy crap. I didn't even know that it worked like that. Alright, so Graves, 1, look to upgrade your totem. 2, if you're not doing really well, usually Last Whisper should always be your 3rd item. I didn't have a ton of armor, but armor is different than magic resist in that every champion has scaling armor, so Last Whisper is usually pretty effective.
A lot of champs can get to 100 armor without any big items.
Exactly. Victor, I'd say work on improving your CS early. Ziggs got a pretty good lead on you. It was like 40 to 30 at the very beginning.
Yeah, and once that tower went down, Ziggs fell behind it in CS a lot.
Also, build. I don't like upgrade into Deathcap. I like upgrade into Morellos or upgrade into Ludens. I don't really see anybody go upgrade into Deathcap. I think old Victor did that, but new Victor doesn't. Amumu, I think when he started winning, you could have warded a little more aggressively. I think usually Amumu doesn't do that against Lee Sin, but in Lee Sin 0-4-0, look to punish him a little harder. Also, I think he changed his build some, but don't be afraid to get Frozen Heart earlier than you did. You had Giant Spelt Warden Mail. And I think he corrected it. You were probably listening to stream, but it could have been better. Bard, you really needed to have Locket earlier. Like, I think that was the biggest thing. And I think in lane, like, you randomly used Tunnel into, like, a situation where better players would have killed you. Like, that one time he used Tunnel into Thresh is, And in team fights, like, don't waste ult. I think sometimes he randomly wasted ult. Or he used Q when he could have been using Shrine. How can I improve my lane presence when landing with a more timid AD? Huh. That's a good question, and that's something you have to deal with a lot in solo queue. Look to just auto-attack more and get more Qs in. Generally, like, watch your creeps, not the other creeps, watch your creeps. And when your creeps get low, know that the other AD carry has to walk up to hit them. So if you hit the AD carry, he has to either choose between trading in you and trading your CS. That's something I call the Dota drill, and it will be covered in my CS guide that I'm releasing this afternoon, so look for it on the Reddit. Ziggs, don't go Lich Bane second, and he did really well with farming early, but work on mid-game farm to a degree. When you're playing a control mage and your team is losing, you need to keep ricing. Keep farming. And upgrade Trinket and don't build Lich Bane second. Thresh. You really need to, like, when you play against a Mumu or a heavy AoE damage team, you really need to itemize Locket earlier. And I think a lot of times your teammates were in really rough spots. And it's a weird thing to get used to because you're helping your team, but you're not on top of them helping, like literally every other champion in the game. Standing away from them and being able to lantern and save them. Lucian. I think mid-game farm was the biggest one I saw. I saw bot lanes. You could have traded a lot harder. Get used to, like, auto, Q, auto, and just like the Lucian combos. You can almost go into a custom game and practice them, but Lucian is a champion that's very different. If you can't do the combos, you do a lot less damage. Fiora, don't rush Mobies, and if your Trinity is really expensive, look for Armor Pen. Last Whisper is good, Black Cleaver is good, Hydra is good. Brute and the Ghost Bleed's okay. Remember to actually use your trinket, not even upgrading, and remember to upgrade trinket. But like this is only having 4 wards placed with trinket means that this is on a 60-second cooldown, and over a 40-minute game you only used it 4 times, which is pretty rough. Lee Sin, when you invade, let the buff get lower or let Amumu get lower. You kind of rushed that when you didn't need it to. And get boots earlier and upgrade your smite item earlier. I shouldn't ever see Machete Ruby Crystal Longsword. That was really, really awkward. I think that's it. If anybody has questions in chat, feel free to ask them. We'll be turning off stream for a few minutes before the next game, and I believe the lobby's up.
Basically full.
So.
Yeah.
And Lee Sin, once again, manage your passive better. We talked about that some with Stalkers during the game. So, Jimmy, his team. Alright, we'll see you guys again in a few minutes. Feel free to hang around and chat and ask questions. I'll still be typing, I just won't give my throat a break.